Hello good people of YouTube, and welcome to my hobby channel. In this video I will be continuing my series of kitbashing Warhammer the Old World Empire troops and looking at Free Company Militia. Once again I've been rummaging through my stash of miniatures, digging out foundry blisters that I was given whilst writing my modelling books, and also blowing the dust off some of the other plastic boxes that I've looked at in previous videos. So we've got some human infantry and human light infantry for Oathmark, which I have featured in some of my Bretonnian kit bashing videos. And I've got the folk Rabble, which I've featured before, from FireForge, and probably most significantly from the Frostgrave range of miniatures from North Star and Osprey Games. I've got the Ghost Archipelago Crewmen, which a lot of people have been using to make Free Company Militia, and I've got some miniatures that I've kit bashed down there, and we'll take a look at those in a minute. Now, the first time I encountered the Ghost Archipelago Crewmen was when I was writing my book on modelling and painting fantasy figures. And although I featured this book in some of my early videos, I haven't really mentioned it much recently till I dug it out again for my last video. I've had lots of questions since then from people asking if they can still get hold of a copy. And the short answer is yes. I've written this book on modelling and painting fantasy figures, and I've also written another book on modelling and painting sci-fi miniatures. So if you're interested in either of those or both, you can still pick them up online. If you can't get hold of them in your local bookstore or hobby shop, then I'll include some links in my description to the publishers. You can purchase direct from the publisher or any other reputable bookshop. And these are some Ghost Archipelago Crewmen that I kit bashed with some parts from Frostgrave's Cultist box as well, when I was painting up some undead crew for my ghost ship. They did make a brief appearance at the beginning of my book, and you can see them there pictured with the ghost ship in the background and a Kraken model that I sculpted, which is also available from the Battleforge website. Check out the battleforge.co.uk or get in touch with Ainsley Castings, and you can get hold of a Kraken from there. But you can just see some of the Ghost Archipelago plastics there that I kit bashed. And in the book there's a section on how to paint up these crewmen in a nice bright green, so that you can use them as ghosts. And that's exactly what I did here. And after painting up these miniatures, I still had several sprues left from the box of crewmen that I bought. And now that Games Workshop have released their Warhammer the Old World Empire Army and the Free Company Militia, I've been able to do some kit bashing. And it's a great opportunity to add some extra flavour to the Free Company models. Now, obviously using crewmen will give your Free Company Militia a swashbuckling or cutthroat feel to them, which I don't actually mind. I think that's quite a good look. And this is a Ghost Archipelago Crewman that I've built straight from the box. And you can see here it's also quite a good fit with some of the Foundry Cutthroat, Pirate and Buccaneer models. Whilst I'm on the subject of Foundry, I did want to show you this sort of pirate captain in the middle here. Now, this is an original Citadel miniature that I've had since I was about 13 or 14 years old, and one that I painted up quite a few years ago. The other day when I was digging through my stash, I did find the reissued version of this very same model, and it was mint and unpainted, and I thought that would make a great comparison. So I pulled it out of the big box of metals that I've got that still need painting or sorting out, put it down somewhere, and now I can't find it. So instead I've picked a different Foundry model, which we've got on the left there, and just so that you can see how they size up scale wise. I'll move that one out of the way. I'll bring in the Ghost Archipelago, and there we have basically an unpainted Foundry pirate or Cutthroat, we've got Warhammer the Old World, Free Company Militia in unpainted grey plastic. We've got an old Citadel Buccaneer or Pirate, which Foundry still produce, and the Ghost Archipelago Crewmen there. Just swap those over. So that you can see the height-wise, that's a good fit, really good fit. So I can understand why a lot of people have been turning to these miniatures here in either kit bashing or building their own proxy Free Company Militia units. Now, I've done some kit bashing, and that's what I want to show you next. First thing I want to do before I start kit bashing a couple of figures on this video is show you this chap here, and I think this is a wonderful, really characterful face on this model. Now, this is an Oathmark human infantry figure, and the reason I want to show you this guy here, built straight from the box, but I've not included a shield on this one, is because I've used a similar body, if not the very same body, in creating this Free Company Militia here. So we've got an Oathmark human infantry body with a blunderbuss from the Free Company Militia box and a head from the State Troops or Handgunners sprue. And I think they go together really well. A little bit of gap filling might be necessary around the shoulders if the arms don't quite align, because they're being glued to a slightly different torso. But as kit bashing and converting goes, that's an easy thing to deal with. So just very quickly there, I've done a lineup between the Ghost Archipelago Crewmen that I built on the left there, the kit bashed Oathmark human infantry model there with the blunderbuss from the militia and a head from the Empire State Troops or Handgunners, and of course an Empire Militia built straight from the box there. Just to give you a good idea of scale and how well something like that works. And I'll just bring the Oathmark infantryman back in, maybe stand him next to Games Workshop Empire model, so that you can see that's a pretty close fit, and that's Oathmark human infantry, not the light infantry though. And I'll just swap those out now and you'll see why. Beautiful though the human light infantry is, and height wise it's good, it's actually quite a skinny model, and I think they would make excellent wood elves, possibly even rangers. But they do have slightly thinner arms, slightly smaller hands. Having said that, I do love them. I think they're great miniatures, and the potential to use them as elves or rangers is pretty good. Another miniature that I wanted to show you was this. This is from FireForge Games, and it's the Northmen Folk Rabble, and this is a vanilla build straight from the box. They've got some wonderful stuff on the sprues, spades, pickaxes, pitchforks, lots of kind of farm tools and improvised weapons. There are male and female bodies, and we've got sickles and scythes and brooms, all sorts of stuff, including a few flaming torches as well. And height wise, these are pretty good. Heads and hands look slightly smaller than the GW models, but I've been using these with my Bretonians to great effect. And I have done a kit bash with the Ghost Archipelago Crewmen that I think works quite well. And that is this miniature here. So that's a body from the Northmen Folk Rabble by FireForge, and then the weapon arms, the shield and the head from the Ghost Archipelago Crewmen. And I think that has quite a nice vibe to it. To me, it's a bit reminiscent of the Golden Voyage of Sinbad. And again, I just want to compare that to a vanilla build of Free Company Militia on the extreme right, the kitbashed Empire Militia using the human infantry body to the left, and the extreme left is a vanilla Ghost Archipelago built straight from the box. And again, I've got another simple kitbash here using a Ghost Archipelago Crewman body and weapon arms. And all I've done with this one is simply add a head from the Empire Free Company Militia box. And of course, this is the chap with a patch over his eye, which makes him look like a pirate anyway. And I think those fit together really nicely. Just do another quick line up so that you can see proportions and height. But I think they work really well. Right, and continuing with the same theme of using the Ghost Archipelago crewman body, this kitbash here has Empire pistol arms from the Free Company Militia box and a head which has either come from the State Trooper box or the handgunners or missile troops, but again that's an Empire head. Before I do another lineup, I just wanted to show you this one, which is predominantly GW bits. The body and the head and the arms are from the Free Company Militia, and the feather is from the State Troopers box. What I've done is basically chop the top of the head off on this miniature and given him a Shako from one of the Perry Miniatures French Napoleonic infantry boxes. So if we look at him there with some Foundry miniatures and ex-Citadel miniatures, I do think there's potentially some mileage in a conversion like this. And the other thing that I wanted to introduce just very quickly was a Wagon-master General that I sculpted, who could also potentially be painted up as a Royal Navy captain or admiral or something, and perhaps even end up in a Free Company Militia unit. And here is that conversion next to an Empire handgunner. And before I actually crack on and do a kit bash in front of the camera, I wanted to show you this figure on the left here, which is a 3D print. It was given to me by a friend, a mate of mine called Darren, who had a box full of these, including a unit that was intended for use as Bretonians. Now, I think this is a Highlands miniature on the left, but I can't be 100% sure. This one doesn't seem too bad, although I don't like the head on it. The head is separate, and in a second I'll do a quick head swap on this one so that you can see how it looks with a Games Workshop head on it. I think that looks pretty good. I've just used a bit of blue tack to hold it in place because I'm resisting the urge to build all these units right now until I've got hold of the flagellants, the great swords, the archers, and the Hellblast volley gun or whatever it is. I want to wait until those other boxes have arrived so that when it comes to kit bashing, I've got the maximum variety possible. Okay, so what I've got here for a build I'm going to do in front of the camera are some pieces from the Free Company Militia sprue. Now, in the Ghost Archipelago Crewmen box, you do get little pieces like this. So here's a tiny little hand axe with the hand attached to it, and they're great for doing simple hand swaps. And hopefully you could achieve that simply by cutting the hand off at the wrist and gluing this one in its place. I'm not going to do that because I was looking for a different hand swap using the Northmen folk Rabble, but unfortunately the hands are slightly smaller, particularly with this one being a gloved hand. Now, yes, the eagle-eyed among you will say, well, that's the wrong hand. Yes, it is, because I decided I wasn't going to do a hand swap here. I'm actually going to do a weapon swap, so I will be cutting the flaming torch away from the hand and leaving that arm intact to use in another conversion, and then I will just trim off the pommel and the blade of the dagger and swap it for these bits here. So that's the plan. So hopefully you can see this. Get the blade in place, make a commitment. It's a bit awkward doing it with the camera in the way. I'm just going to tidy up the hilt there, because that needs to come off. And there we have a hand ready for a flaming torch, because what I had in mind when I collected these parts together was creating a hero for my Free Company Militia that was reminiscent of the Aragorn on Weathertop Lord of the Rings miniature that I think you got with some of the ring wraiths, perhaps, where he's swinging this flaming torch around. But I've chosen a head from the Ghost Archipelago crew, and to complete the conversion I now need to cut this flaming torch out of the Northfolk Rabble hand. There, hold it steady. Right, just take the bottom off because I'll need that as well. There we go, so that leftover hand there can be used in another conversion, so I'll keep hold of that. And now I just need to glue those two bits of plastic to that arm and hopefully do a good job of it. So get some glue on there. So hopefully you can see this now as I bring the two bits together. I actually want the flames pointing in like that. I can't believe that's gone together that quickly. Perhaps not in quite the right place. There we are, I like that. And now I just need to make sure I clean that end off at the right angle. Try and level it up a bit. Again, this is really difficult with the camera in the way. I think that works. Let's get some glue on the hand. Just trying to nurse that into the right place there. I think that'll do. Zoom in to give you a closer look. So now I'm going to get that attached to my hero after assembling it. So here we are with the pieces. I've already cleaned these. I'm just going to glue these together. So there we are. I do actually talk about assembling plastic miniatures in my Modelling and Painting Fantasy Figures book. And if you want, you can read about it in that. But a quick tip for creating really nice poses is to glue the body together, get the arms glued on where you want them, and save the head for last. So I've got the sword in the air, and I want the flaming torch out towards the front there. So now that I've done that, I can decide how I want to position this head for the best dramatic effect. So I'll get a bit of glue on there, and I'll try and show you what I mean before the glue dries. So with the head positioned that way, I think the pose looks a bit messy. The character, the model, looks a little bit distracted, and it's not the best looking conversion. But if we turn the head that way, then there's a sense of direction or determination in that pose, which helps to tell a a little story almost. So it's just subtle little things like that that make a big difference to the finished conversion or how your kitbash models end up looking. So I'll just do a slow pan along these models that I'm starting to put together for my Free Company Militia. And there's an Empire handgunner at the end just to remind us all about scale. Now there are 32 miniatures in the Free Company Militia, and you get 20 miniatures in a Ghost Archipelago Crewmen box. So I will probably go out and get myself another box of Crewmen, seeing as I've used some of the models already on other projects, and I will look to create a couple of Free Company Militia units, perhaps totaling 50 or 60 models, with the maximum variety possible. I will be using some more bits and pieces from the Northmen folk Rabble and the Oathmark boxes, but for the most part my Warhammer Free Company Militia will be made from the Ghost Archipelago Crewmen and various parts from Games Workshop miniatures. As I said earlier, I am waiting for the next phase of plastics to be released for Warhammer the Old World, and that is the Empire Flagellants, the Great Swords, the Empire Archers or Bowmen, and the Hellblaster Volley Gun. And I'm waiting for those before I really get stuck into kit bashing and building complete units. At the time of filming this video, I've still got another week to 10 days to wait before I can collect those Empire boxes. So I'll probably shift my focus in my next video or two to something that isn't dependent on those plastics turning up. I hope you found this video on kit bashing Free Company Militia useful. If you have, please smash that like button. Please feel free to share comments and let me know what you're doing with your projects. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do. Don't forget to check the description for links to my modelling books if you're interested in purchasing those. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.